In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to take a proper light meter reading in different lighting scenarios. I'll be covering technical aspects and about developing a visual vocabulary with light as well. My partner Kausila will be sitting in as a model for this demo. But before I begin, I would like to remind you to subscribe to my channel and click on that bell icon so that you'll be notified when I upload new tutorials. I post new tutorials every week and I personally go over all closed captions. If you find it helpful, turn the captions on. And let me also introduce myself to those of you who do not know me. My name is Surendra Lawoti. I'm a Nepali photographer and a visual artist based in Toronto in Canada. I've been exhibiting my work internationally for the past 20 years. I received my BA in photography from Columbia College Chicago and my MFA also in photography from Massachusetts College of Art and Design in Boston. I currently teach as a part-time faculty at the Ontario College of Art and Design in Toronto, where I mostly work with second year and third year undergraduate students. Now, back to the tutorial. Light meter reading is extremely important in photography because images need to be exposed properly during capture, whether it's via sensor or film. And besides making technically competent exposure, light needs to be interpreted as well. The same lighting scenario can be interpreted and photographed differently by 10 different photographers. Interpretation of light creates a visual language or a mood or a feeling. This is called aesthetics. Developing aesthetics requires both technical competence and artistic sensibility. It's easy to master technical aspects of light metering, but interpretation of light can be a lifelong pursuit, and interpretation is inherently subjective. Let me show you two examples of my work to illustrate light and its interpretation. Here is a photograph from my series, This Country Is Yours, which was photographed in Nepal during the time of writing of Nepal's constitution that was promulgated a few years ago. The work focuses on civil rights activists from different activist groups such as women, indigenous nationalities, and Dalits. This image of Rajdev Kang was photographed in his one-room apartment in Kathmandu. He is a student activist. The image is dramatic, mostly due to lighting. The play between light and shadow creates tension and urgency. The vantage point of camera in relation to Kang's body, his intense eye gesture, his hand pressing against the wall, and the fact that he is lying on his bed and staring at the ceiling all complements the dramatic lighting to create a space for interpretation for the viewer. As the photographer of the image, it is my hope that the viewer recognizes that sense of tension and urgency could be due to the fact that Kang belongs to a Madise Dalit community, and in the context of writing a constitution of his country, he had a lot at stake, which perhaps is what led to the psychological charge of the portrait. Now, let's look at another image of Sarita Pariyar, also from the same series. This image also has dramatic lighting, but the image is much calmer. The light is softer and more diffused. Surrounded by dark tonalities, her face is illuminated in light. The bright tonalities of the window in the background frames her head, making her appear angel-like. She is reading and appears collected and focused. Unlike Kang's portrait, the situation here seems to be under control. And in the context of the work, as a woman Dalit activist, Pariyar seems composed and ready to take on the fight in a calm, thoughtful manner. As the two examples illustrate, light is an important element of aesthetics. Over time, photographers develop their own visual vocabulary with light. Now, let me show you how to make a proper light meter reading and explain interpreting a lighting scenario. Let's start with light metering. There are two kinds of light meter: handheld light meter and TTL light meter. TTL stands for through the lens and these are the meters that are built inside most cameras, such as this. Handheld light meters, often used in a studio setting by photographers who work with artificial light, reads incident light. TTL light meter, on the other hand, reads reflected light. Incident light meter reads light falling on the subject, and reflected light reads light reflecting off the subject. I will have a more in-depth tutorial of using handheld light meter coming soon. This vase of tulip is being lit with a window light. Same amount of light is falling on the white tulip and the red apple. If I take a meter reading with a handheld light meter of the white tulip and the red apple, the reading is going to be the same because both have the same light source, which is the window. But if I take a meter reading with my camera with its TTL light meter, the reading between red apple and white tulip is different since white reflects more light than red. And another important concept to understand is that light meters are designed to measure middle gray. Middle gray means tonality that is halfway between black and white tones. In color photography, it also gives reading of middle red, middle blue, middle green, etc. Middle in color photography refers to the middle tonality of each color. Light meters measure light to reproduce medium gray tone in the photograph. Middle in color photography refers to middle tonality of each color. Light meters measure light to reproduce medium gray tone in the photograph. A handheld light meter always gives middle gray reading, irrespective of the fact what color the subject matter is. But with TTL light meters, it can be problematic if you do not understand how light meter works. Let's say I'm photographing a snowy landscape on a bright sunny day. I point my camera, take a meter reading, and make an exposure based on the reading. The photograph will likely come out grayer than you anticipated. That is because white snow reflects a lot of light, and light meter gets fooled to think there is a lot of light and gives a meter reading accordingly. Similarly, if you photograph a dark object, such as this black running shirt, the shirt will come out gray in color and not as black as it really is, because black does not really reflect light. It is important to understand the concept of middle gray to fully understand how light meter works. Now that we've understood the theoretical aspect of how light metering works, let's put it into practice. Here is my partner and my wife, Kausila, who has been kind enough to sit in as a model. She is facing the camera with a bright window behind her. I set my Nikon DSLR on matrix metering mode. If you do not understand metering modes, I would recommend you to watch my tutorial on metering modes explained. Click on the link on the top right corner of the video. I'm going to take a meter reading. The matrix metering mode is going to give a meter reading based on different zones within the camera. The background is bright, Kausila's face is in the shadow, and there are other parts of the image that are in varying tonalities. The matrix metering mode is going to use this algorithm to give an exposure reading, which is more or less an average of all the different tonalities within the frame. As you can see in the resulting image, Kausila's face is underexposed. There is so much difference between dark and light tonalities in the frame, the algorithm did not work. In this lighting scenario, it is best to use spot metering mode. The spot metering gives a reading of a specific point. The autofocus point is in use. I'm going to take a meter reading of Kausila's cheek to the right of her nose, which will result in that area to be in middle gray. We can see that Kausila's face is properly exposed. The area outside the window in the background is going to be overexposed since it is brighter in relation to the middle gray. Between these two examples, the second image is better since we can see details of Kausila's face. After all, it's a portrait. Now let's interpret this lighting scenario slightly differently. With the same light meter reading, I'm going to make 3 more exposures. First, I'm going to underexpose by half a stop. Second, I'm going to underexpose by 1 stop. And third, I'm going to underexpose by 1.5 stop. As you can see, the 3 images are different. This way, you can interpret a lighting scenario differently. In order to interpret a lighting scenario, you have to visualize light and the image beforehand. I will explain visualizing light in my next demo. This time, Kausila is being lit from sideways with a light source. As you can see, the right side of her face is in light and the left side is in the shadow. I'm going to take a light meter reading with matrix metering mode. You can see the overall exposure is not bad, but the right side of her face is slightly overexposed. Now, let's switch to spot meter reading and take a meter reading based on her cheek just to the right of her nose. You can see the area of her right cheek is in the middle gray and the rest of the tonalities fall in relation to it. Next, I'm going to take a meter reading based on her left cheek. This time, the left cheek is in middle gray and other areas are in relation to it. The 2 images are dramatically different. So, this is what I mean by visualizing light. It is the same light source, but images can look different depending on how you meter it. Now, let's take one more shot with the average of the 2 exposures. You can see this image is different from the other 2. So, it is important to understand technical aspects of light metering. But more important is to understand visualizing light. Once you understand visualizing light, you can develop aesthetics of your own. I hope this tutorial has helped you understand light metering and about visualizing light and developing a visual vocabulary. If so, please like the video and subscribe to my channel and click on that bell icon so that you will not miss any upcoming tutorials. If you have any questions or comment, use the comment section below. Ciao.